Hi, in this video I'm going to give a review of this HSP Brontosaurus RC car. I'm also going to show you how I deal with this problem and the switch, the loose switch. I've tried press stick, I've tried panel beaters tape, but this thing keeps popping out, and so does this, and I just don't think that this car will last with this switch always falling on the side. And I don't know if I got a dud or if something was missing from the one I got, but I definitely feel like it's not supposed to be loose. All of this stuff is not supposed to be loose. So I'm going to demonstrate how I solve that problem. Now I'm also going to demonstrate the issue of the charger. This is my second charger, and the reason it's my second charger is because you actually need to plug in the AC adapter first, then plug it into the unit. I had it in the unit first, and then I plugged in the AC adapter and then popped the charger. I really think that there's no other description for these chargers other than cheap and nasty. They could have had a better charger. In this video I'm also going to repair a bent shock absorber. I will discuss some other repairs and some tips and tricks that I've found with this car and the extensive repairs I've done. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against this car. I actually really like it. It's a gift for my son, and it seems like it's a gift for him and a job for me. Right, so let's solve this problem. Okay, the first thing I see is that I want to tie this down. So I've got some cable ties, just some thin ones, and I want to tie it in here in such a way that it doesn't move. So I'm going to actually drill a hole, believe it or not, just a little hole, enough for a cable tie to get through. So what I want to do is I want to decide where am I going to install this controller. So I think I will drill a hole there and there, and it looks like there is actually already a hole. Yeah, there is already a hole drilled here. There is a hole there. I'm not sure what that's actually for. So I'm going to use that hole to thread in my cable tie, and thereafter I'm going to drill a hole on the other side. I'm sure these holes are also for if there's water, then it can escape. So, okay, I've made my mark. Now I'll just drill through here. Okay. I'm still going to put the press stick here because I think it's a good shock absorber underneath there. And now these cable ties I'm using are more on the short side. So I've threaded through there, I've threaded there, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to join these two together because it's not actually long enough. So maybe you can get a longer cable tie. Because this is a trial, I'm just using thin cable ties because I don't want it to be too tight and I don't want it to be too resilient. This is just a trial. Okay, I'm going to seat this nicely. There's something here. Okay, a stone. All right. Okay, now let's seat. Oh, much better. Now it's seated there. Make sure there's a gap between the drive shaft and the controller. I'm going to thread it between these wires, making sure not to put any pressure on the wires. I'm now going to grab the other side of this cable tie. Come on, boy. I'm going to cut this side here so I don't have any pigtail there. There we go. And this one is going to go between this wire, like so, and I fasten it there. And there we go. So as I said, I'm not trying to make this very tight. I'm just want it to be, see, it can still move, but at least now it's seated. Okay, I'm wondering why it's seated skew, but I think that is the press stick. I'm going to, yeah, it is. I'm going to just squash it down a bit. Okay, there we go, done. So that solves this problem. And again, I haven't made it very tight. Now the next problem is this power switch. Now I don't want the power cable, let me just put that there, and I don't want the cable to be sitting loose like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the cable around there like that, because when this thing is plugged in, then this cable can't fall on the floor. And I'm going to put press stick here to hold it in place, and press stick is not great but to hold it for long term, but just for now while I'm trying to fasten this switch down. And now I must decide how I'm going to fasten the switch down. Now there are some options. I could just tie the switch on there and cable tie it to that cable tie. That's not a bad option. Or maybe you can't put anything near this side, it is too hot, and as you can see it's even eaten some of this, burned some of this wire. So you've got to be careful with this wire, and that's again design flaw, because if this speed controller is moving, it like might sit in such a way that it sits on this wire, and then this wire sits on this hot motor. This motor gets very hot, and as you can see, it's actually worn out some of the insulation of that red wire. Okay, so let's think about how or where we're going to put this one. Yeah, I should have blown it out with a dust, with an air blower. Let's put it there for now. Okay, the next one I want to fasten down is the capacitance box. Again, I'm just going to put some press stick just to seat it. I did use panel beating tape, which was better, but it collects dust just like the press stick and it comes off. Now what I'm going to do is, under this plastic bridging plate, or whatever you would call this, I'm just going to tie this capacitance box down with this cable tie. Again, not very tight, and that's it. See, hand tight. I don't want to squash it, I don't want to deform the casing. Remember, this is supposed to be water resistant, so if you tie this with the cable tie tight, you might deform the plastic, you might open up a crack there. Now that's solved. This power switch, I will I'm still deciding how I should put this switch. Maybe for now I'm just going to tie it here with a cable tie like so. Just for now, let's give it a try and see if this works. There is a button and a button. There's a set button here, and then there's the on off there. So I'm just going to tie it like that. At least, look, it'll still wobble, but at least it's not going to lie on the floor. Okay, so that's already better, as you can see. Now the repair of the rear shock absorber. I have another video of this already. You can have a look at it. It's a detailed video, so I'm just going to do this quickly now because I have a video on this. Alright, so there is a Allen key that you need to use. So wrong size. Here it is. Also wrong size. Yeah, there we go. You need to unscrew the Allen key nut, or top of a screw nut. There we go. Then we can take it off the post. Just be careful, don't just break it off. Try and squeeze it out, almost rotating it. There we go, you see the rotation. Now, as I've said, the best is not to open this because there is a fluid in there. So what you do is you pull that open like that, move the spring away and take the seat away, and now we've got the shaft in full view. We can just clean it with the tissue, whatever you got. Right, now looking at the shock absorber, it's not looking in good condition. You can see it's got a nice kink in it. As I said before, we want to grab it at the kink, make sure that you're getting it the right line, and now we want to use another plier over there and we want to bend it straight. Now this is aluminium, so it is very easy to bend. In fact, most of the time I'm bending too much and I've got to realign it. Now I turn it and I can see it's bent in this direction. So I'm going to grab it there and I'm going to grab it there, and now I'm going to bend it straight. Okay, and it's important to look at it from different angles, as I've done. Now I can see it's still skew, but right at the head part, right where it sits into the unit. So I'm going to bend it at that part there. It's a lot better. Still a little bit skew, trying to work out where it is. See? It's actually fine, totally fine. So I'll consider that solved. It's important to, once you have seated it, once you have straightened it, turn it to make sure that it moves in all directions. Now we'll put this spring back on. I will then put the seat, make sure that the flat side is facing the spring, slide that in there, seat the spring in the seat. You can tension it a bit so that it doesn't pop out too easily. In fact, I should do that all around. And now we just need to reinstall this. Okay, I would recommend you first put it on the control arm so that it's not under pressure while you're working. You can still see it. Gonna get a head in the way here. Alright, there are two holes here. I'm just going for the first one. There we go. It's not about how tight you can make it, because this Allen key is really just to hold it in position. In fact, if you make it too tight, you're going to screw it too far in, and this thing, the Allen key, is not going to be getting support from this side of the bushing, or this side of the control arm. So it must be supported on both sides. So just tighten it just below the surface. See there, it can no longer feel it projecting. So that's enough. It's not very tight. And now we just want to put this back on. So you can use two hands. Now important is to notice which direction it is. The one side is closed, it's got a smaller opening than the other, so you want to obviously put it on the side with the bigger opening. And then let's test it. Perfect. Okay, so all my shocks are now sorted. I'm going to take this opportunity to just tension them a little bit more, because I find the springs are popping out. This tensioning has more than just, it's not just about the springs, it's also about how the ride works. You can see why it's got all this dust in that here. I should have blown it out with air, compressed air. There's oil in here, and I'm sure it's coming out there. So I'm just going to tension these a bit. This has also got, the suspension is also important for the ride height. How much tension you put on the suspension, also how much grip the tires have. Now as it's losing a bit of fluid, this is a good opportunity to start to tighten some of these, all of the suspensions. Now here's an example of where I made a boo-boo. I left the the cap lid off. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to unscrew this. Now, as I said in a previous video, it's important to note that there is a fluid in here, and if you pour it out, as I did, put maybe some cooking oil in there, and I'm just putting this one back because I had forgotten about it. Nice and tight. Right, now put it back onto the post. Remember that it's two sides, one is smaller than the other, so that you can only go one way. There we go. Okay, check the suspension. Very good. It's not getting stuck. That's perfect. Perfect. Okay, now some problems with this car. The first problem is, I don't know if you can see in there, I'm going to use the Allen key to point in there, what they're calling a dog bone, but what I'm calling a control arm, is actually getting worn out, because what is happening is I've actually got that spare part. Let me get it. It's almost like a CV housing is actually binding it's actually grinding the drive shaft down. So I never thought I'd have to change these drive shafts, but if you can look in there, it's actually worn. It's actually wearing into the drive shaft. So this steel here is actually wearing in there, mostly because the shock got bent. So when the shock got bent, then this unit actually it actually allowed the wheel to sit in a position which actually is grinding in there. So that's something to note. Another issue which I've noticed here is that you want to set these servo linkages correctly, because if you have them set where it can open up the wheel too much, then that also adds to the grinding of this what do you call it, drive shaft or dog bone. Okay, another problem I noticed is with this unit here. Now you have to unscrew this every time you need to fix the suspension. This pin, this control, this pushing here or holding thing here actually breaks, so you've got to take this off. So what I noticed is when you're unscrewing this screw, it unscrews this screw over here. When you're unscrewing this nut, it unscrews the screw. It was quite annoying. So what I recommend is put some Loctite on this screw, so that it'll make your repair job much quicker. Another problem with this car is, I'm going to demonstrate it. Let me unscrew this and then I'll show you what it is. Whoops. Not drill it, unscrew it. Now what happens is, this guy here, that there, tends to loosen. There is an Allen key there. I'm going to just, there we go. there. That Allen key keeps coming undone. So this unit here, which these are the spare parts for it, comes undone. And the symptom of it is when you're driving, only the two wheels rotate, the other two are not. So this pin here, this drive shaft, just rattles and is loose. And this thing, literally, every time I have to go, every time my son comes back after playing, I have to almost reinstall this thing. So this, I think, is also designed for, they should have made this screw a little bit bigger. And what it does is it just screws onto a flat, the screw just screws onto a flat surface, and that movement rocks that screw, and I think that it loosens it, and this unit actually slides off the shaft. See the shaft there, and it mostly happens on this side, which is obviously quite annoying because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws. All right, so that's just that thing there. That's what I wanted to show you. When I fix it on that side, I'll do a video on how to replace that. Alright, so that really brings me to the end. I've shown you how to fix the suspension. I've put those parts a little bit better so they don't rattle and fall all loose, get all loose. And that's the end of the video. So if you enjoyed this video, please remember to give a thumbs up.